the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow, along with Sarah Hull, co-owner and COO of DoorGrow. Now let's get into the show. All right, so today I reached out to Morgan, one of our coaches on our team, and I said, what should we talk about on the podcast? What are you running into with clients lately related to coaching? And should I just read what she said, or
just sum it up?
I'll sum it up. So basically, she said a lot of property managers have a lot on their plates. A lot of y'all have a lot on your plate, and you're not taking care of yourself. And this might sting a little to hear for some of you. Some of you are not taking care of yourself right now. You should be. Maybe you should be eating better. You should be getting more sleep. You should be having less stress. You should be like stepping up more as mom or dad, taking care of your kids, being part of the family, whatever it is. But you're not able to really be there in a lot of different ways because you are too busy being a martyr. Too busy being a martyr, allowing property management to take over your life, allowing tenants to take over your life, allowing owners to dictate your life, and you're trying to please all of these other people. Probably matter a lot less to you than your family does, right? So that's what we're going to chat about today. We're going to talk a little bit about how it's possible to have it all. You can have a successful business. You can manage your time well. You can get support. You can have the space to do work with DoorGrow, have time for coaching. You can have it all. And she also mentioned other big challenges is related to this is juggling multiple businesses. So these are some of the things we can get into today. So where should we start?
Well, I think a good place to start is let's address the elephant in the room, which is like stress.
Okay.
Stress in property management is super common because it is a very stressful business. It's a high pace, like fast moving business. Typically, it's not something where, hey, we have, 18 days to figure this out and we could just take our time. Oftentimes, it's like a fast moving, high pressure industry in general. And I think that there are definitely ways to kind of help like reduce and mitigate stress. I just don't know how often people actually do it. And for a while, I was in that bucket too. I was like experiencing burnout and trying to push through it. And I think that's really common for people is just to go, well, this is just normal. Like I own a business and this is normal. And this is what owning a business is. This is what property management is. This is what it's like. I have to just put up with it. And you don't. You put up with whatever situation you create. And the beautiful thing about having a business is that you can create the business, you can build it around you, and you can structure it in a way that allows you to reduce your stress, especially once you start to build a team.
Yeah, I think in building a business, any industry, the business can take as much of you from you and your life as you're willing to allow it. And so it's really about setting healthy boundaries. And boundaries really aren't so much about telling everybody else, like, this is how you need to treat me necessarily. Boundaries are really just about what you are going to do and not going to do. That's it. Like it's in your wheelhouse. A lot of times people think boundaries are about like trying to control somebody else or telling somebody else, you're not allowed to do this to me or say this or do that. That's controlling. That's not necessarily boundaries. Boundaries really are, if you do these things, if the tenant's going to treat or talk to me this way, I'm going to, do this. Or if the owner is going to treat me or talk to me this way, then this is going to be the consequence. I'm going to do this. And it's about what you're going to do. And one of the ways you can easily set a boundary, back when I had a job, which is a while ago, I'm pretty much unemployable now. I think most of the entrepreneurs listening would agree they're unemployable now. You just wouldn't probably be able to work for somebody else. You're enjoying too much freedom as a business owner, even if it's your stress and your problem, it's yours, right? But one of the things I had to do is I had a job where I was managing an entire like tech support team, and I got all the escalation calls, and the work was never done. It was endless. It was never gone. It was never like at the end of the day, I completed everything and could just go home and it was all done. And I'm sure property managers feel a lot like this.
Oh, yeah, for
It's
sure.
just, it's never done.
It's never
There's
done.
always
There's
outstanding stuff.
always more to
There's
do.
work
There's
orders
always
waiting.
more you could do where you're like, well, okay, I'm done, but let me try to see if I can get these things in. Or like, oh, maybe now I have some time to focus on, this thing. And it's this never ending loop. It's a never ending cycle.
And when you have this endless to-do list that you're always adding to, so it becomes a to-die list because you're just making it bigger all the time, probably. There needs to be a cutoff, right? And so one simple boundary is you can say, I'm done at 5 p.m. Like I'm going home and I'm going to be with my family and I'm not going to work, right? I'm done. And now you need to set some things up, some systems in place so that you can be legitimately done by 5 p.m. Maybe it's you have an after hours call center.
Mm.
Maybe it's you've got somebody else on your team that has a phone. Maybe the after hours stuff, you've got Filipino team members where it's like during normal hours for them, whatever. But you have some way of saying, I'm done at 5. Then from there on out, I get to be dad. I get to be family member. I get to like feed myself. And I think this is like in my study of like men and women, I think men need this way more than women, but probably everybody needs this. But we need a time gap between work and family to transition. I mean, at least like 30 minutes to an hour to decompress, especially when we first walk in the door. So, like, guys, you need some way to become human again because you're in like focus work mode. And Sarah knows, like, I'm not good in that space. Like, if she tries talking to me in that period, like, I'm not listening well,
No,
I'm not present,
no,
and like, everyone's
no.
frustrated. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't go well.
There's usually a lot of hello.
Yeah, and I'm, like, ruminating on the last thing somebody said or something else, and I'm in problem-solving mode, and I have to, like, get out of that space.
Yeah. Like you're physically here, but you're just mentally like
Yeah.
elsewhere. You're not. And it's weird because people in your life don't know that, especially like if you work from home or if you have kids.
Yeah, they don't
Kids are
get
like,
it.
if you're here, like you're here. I should be able to talk to you or call you or walk in your office or right.
Anytime.
And it's about kind of training. It's like, hey, I'm here, but just pretend like I'm not. I know you can see me. I know you can hear me, but during work hours, you got to pretend like I'm not here because a lot of people work outside the home. So just pretend in your brain, like unless there is an emergency, like I'm not here.
Mm.
But it's weird because when you can see someone and they're physically there, you just kind of expect them to be,
Present.
available. So it's I think what something that you could probably do a little bit better is like in that transitional period, like just either hang out in your office or like go upstairs to the media room or go take a walk or something so that that gives you space to like
Yeah.
decompress. And then when you're ready, then come around me because women, I think our brains work just a little different than men's do. But like we're go 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 go. We've got like if you have computers, it's like we have like 1,000 tabs open at all times. Now they're open, like they're doing stuff in the background, but maybe there's like 3 tabs that you're actually looking at right now. But all the other ones, they're just like back here kind of spinning. And all of a sudden, one of those tabs is like, oh, ping, hey, we need you. And we're like, oh, pull that tab open, like let's go into that. And he's like, whoa, I'm not even paying attention yet.
Yeah. I've heard it described that women's brains I have what's called diffuse awareness, which basically means they're way better multitaskers than us, but they're aware of everything going on at the same time. The disadvantage is pretty prominent when it comes to like war or like focusing on one thing right then and trying to shut out all the extra noise and all the like craziness. That's where guys really tend to excel because we're singular focus in our brain. We can literally stop thinking. We can actually just not think about anything. Sometimes women are like, "What are you thinking about?" And we're like, "Nothing." We can actually do that, and women don't get that a
I
lot of
don't get
times.
it. I don't know how
Like,
to
how do you
not
not think?
think.
Yeah.
I think in my sleep too. Like I wake up with ideas that I didn't have the night before, and
Yeah.
it's like just something was spinning around in my brain overnight.
So another thing I've noticed is I'm a lot more burnout by the end of the day if I don't get breaks. And a lot of times
Mm.
we get this obsessive need, like I need to hustle, I got to do. And we become less and less effective. We're less and less present and we're less and less efficient and we're getting actually less done. And so I find that for me taking little breaks throughout the day, which I've been trying to do, when I take little breaks throughout the day, it allows my brain to kind of unwind a little bit. It's like they say if you keep a bow strung all the time, it loses its spring and you can no longer shoot arrows, right? It's no longer effective as a tool. You unstring the bow when it's not in use. And so finding times throughout the day to give a little bit of break, I think also is a way of setting boundaries for yourself and saying, I'm not going to just hi ho silver all day long. And that's a Lone Ranger reference. But hi ho silvering is where you're just, I'm going to go, I'm going to solve the day, I'm going to do everything, blah, blah, blah. And you just go, 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 go. And you're not really effective. You're just running around, go, go, going. You're not taking time to think, plan, meditate, chill out.
You're
So,
reacting
yeah,
to a lot of things.
you're
You're
very reactive
reacting. Yeah.
instead of in control. So, so I think that's another way to mitigate stress. One of my biggest secrets for stress is just going for walks. It's a form of bilateral stimulation. It gets both sides of your brain to go back and forth. There's a form of therapy called EMDR therapy. I worked with an EMDR therapist for a year just from all the stress and trauma that exists in being an entrepreneur. My business coach at the time was like, you need to go get EMDR therapy. And I was like, okay, I'll go do it. And it was really helpful. But then I realized, you know what? The light moving back and forth or the vibrating paddle or having them move your eye back and forth, bilateral stimulation also happens when you just go for a walk and you just focus on feeling your feet while you think about whatever's stressing you out. And so we like to go for walks.
Yeah, I do. I love walking. I feel better after walks, and I feel like I do a lot of really good thinking
Mm,
on walks too. It just because I'm away from everything, like I'm not in front of a device. I don't have my phone in my hand, or I probably have it like on me, but I'm not like on it. I'm not looking at something. So it
yeah.
allows me to just focus on the thing that I want to focus on instead of whatever is calling my attention at that particular time.
Mm,
So, if you've got emails piling up, like, and you're not looking at your email, you don't know that you have emails piling up because it's not in front of you. So I really do like going for walks. I do want to circle back to the mini break thing.
yeah.
I have really have a great story to share. So years ago in my former life, I sold insurance, and I was newer to the insurance company. And there was a woman, there were a couple women, but there was one woman in particular at this company. She hated my guts. Like, oh my God, she hated me so much. I think to this day, she still hates me. It's funny to me. I laugh about it. Oh man, she was so mean to me. She was just nasty, like sweet to my face, awful behind my back, uh, in a lot of different ways. So one time she did not think I was at my desk and I had returned to my desk and we had like little cubicle desks and
Hmm.
she was kind of around the corner talking with another woman who didn't like me at the time. Ended up liking me, but didn't like me at the time.
Wow.
Um, and I hear her say, I don't even know why she has a job here. She doesn't do anything all day. all she does is walk around. She's never at her desk. She just walks around all day long and she talks to people. And it was hilarious to me, like so comically funny to me. Um, the better part was when she turned around to walk by me and realized, because she said that like a minute earlier and walked by me and realized, oh shit, she probably heard that because she was at her desk. And she's in a way, she had a point. What she missed is the big picture. So her point was like she walks around a lot, and I do. I have to walk around a lot. I always have to. Like even I work from home now. I'm like, let me get the dogs a treat. Let me get the dogs out. Like I'm gonna just go take a lap. I'm gonna get up and go, get a drink of water, or I'll make myself a juice or a coffee. Sometimes like there's certain days I do
Mm.
laundry. So like in between things, I'm going in and I'm doing laundry. Even if I just get up, sometimes like I have a bathroom in my office. I don't use that bathroom. I will get up and walk across to the other side of the house to use a different bathroom. Why? Because it gives me a mini break. So
Mm.
I'm really big on taking mini breaks. I always have been. And something I learned recently, I didn't know that I was doing this, but mini breaks are so good for you because they allow you to like just kind of decompress, take a break of like it gives your first of all, it gives your eyes a big rest because now we're no longer staring at a screen. Second of all, if you get up and you're walking, now you are getting that bilateral stimulation. And you're also like getting if you sit too long, it's just not good for your body. Like sitting too
Yeah.
long is not good. Standing too long is not good. Walking too long is not good. So we have to find that balance. But though for those of us like property managers who are not out in the field, we're the ones who are like, hey, maybe we're, at the desk and maybe we're doing sales. That a lot of times it's at a desk. Still get up. Like every so often, get up. But
Mm.
I would get in that office. It was funny because it was like it was a 3-story building. We owned all 3 floors. Well, they owned. And then I would go down in the basement and like go talk to somebody for a few minutes. Instead of calling them on the phone, I would go walk down and talk to them and get what I need and then come back up. Upstairs was the kitchen. So I would go make myself a coffee, come back down. I would walk to the other side to go to the bathroom. That way I'm giving myself a mini break. But the funny thing about this is I was the most productive agent month over month in that company in what I did, which is personal lines.
Mm.
So they're big performer, and I'm not going to mention names, but their big performer. She was great, and she's amazing. She's so great. I came in and I blew her out of the water every single month, month over month, and I quote unquote did nothing.
Mm.
So it's funny for me because I just laughed at that. I was like, oh, this is rich.
Right. Yeah.
But I was able to outwork and outperform anybody. And I
Mm.
still am because my stamina is just like I have now trained my body and trained my brain. But part of doing that is taking a break. If you say, Sarah, you have to sit down for the next 8 hours or 4 hours or 3 hours and just sit here and focus and do work, like, I can't do that. I need mini breaks.
Mm.
So even like in between coaching calls or in between sales calls, or when I was doing property management and I was doing sales calls, I wasn't sitting at my desk. I was on my phone. I only ever talk on speaker. Everybody knows this about me. I only ever talk on speaker. So I was holding my
It's a
phone like
little
this.
annoying
I know.
sometimes.
Holding my phone like this, but I would be up, I'd be pacing. I'd be walking around. Sometimes it was just back and forth in a room. Sometimes I'd go like in my closet and I'd come out. I'd go like down the hall. I'd come back, but I was always up and walking. And that gave me like a little mini break, and I wasn't getting sore. Like my hips get sore if I sit too long.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these mini breaks, there's gold in there. So make sure, and if you are someone who lives and dies by your calendar, that's fine. Like at least every 2 hours, schedule yourself like a 5 to 10 minute mini break. Now, this doesn't have to be long. Sometimes people are like, oh, I can't take a huge break because then I'm like sacrificing time and I'm not getting enough done. You will get more done. And these are mini breaks. I wasn't up like, hey, I'm going to go gallivanting for like, 20, 30 minutes. It's a 5 to 10 minute mini break. It gives your brain a rest. It gives your eyes a rest. It gives you a chance to get up and move, and you will get more done that way.
Do you gallivant?
I used to gallivant a lot.
I don't even know what that means. I mean, I picture you like I picture somebody like Monty
Come on,
Python, it's like
you're
jumping
older than me.
around.
You should know that word.
I've heard the word. I just can't picture what you gallivanting would look like. All right, um, so what's interesting is some people say sitting is the new smoking. I, I don't think I don't know, but maybe it's that bad. But what I do know is my Aura Ring, and which measures my heart rhythm and heart rate and stuff, and my Apple Watch, which also does this stuff, are constantly telling me that I need to stretch my legs or I need to stand up. I get notifications. It can tell that my heart rate is being and my heart is being affected and my health is being affected when I sit too long. So there's, this is a legitimate thing. So getting up and moving around. I have a standing desk and it's typically up unless Sarah's in the room.
Yeah, I don't stand.
Otherwise, I'm sitting on a ball chair. And for those watching the video, I put this on my treadmill. I have a treadmill under my desk that I'll walk on, and I can get 10,000 steps very easily just at my desk. And I find the days that I actually walk, or at the very least stand, I have a lot more energy. I was really fatigued yesterday because I didn't stand or walk, and I was like super tired at the end of the day.
You were.
And so, one thing I want to point out is the days that I exercise, and anyone that exercises consistently knows this is true. The days you exercise, you have a lot more energy. It gives you a lot more in the tank, and it doesn't even have to be long. It could be a 7-minute workout. Google 7-minute workout. It could be a 15-minute workout, which I do with my X3 bar bands, which I think are really cool. Or it could be going to the gym, and like going to the gym after work. A lot of guys will do that because it gives them that space to become human again and get back into their body and become present and kind of work out, the stress of the day. But working out is a proven phenomenal way of decreasing stress, and it gives you more time. It gives you more time back. Anytime you invest into exercise is going to give you more time back. And people that work out know this. Some of the most effective brains that I follow in entrepreneurism are very fit. And it's been proven that when you contract muscle tissue, it pumps chemicals from your muscles that feed your bloodstream and in your brain and make you able to function more cognitively effectively. So, and there's, I think also the effect of discipline, because it takes discipline to exercise. If you can discipline your body and discipline yourself in exercise and working out, Sarah works out, I work out multiple times a week, right? That discipline translates into business. I think very a lot. It's a big deal. And I've noticed that people that can focus on their body and focus on their health, their business becomes a reflection of that to some degree. And are there really fat, unhealthy, overweight people that are making a lot of money? Sure. There's always exceptions. However, I know that for me, I'm a lot more effective in business if I'm taking care of my health. So, and that lowers my stress. So, should we talk about the idea of putting too much pressure on themselves?
Yeah, I think we could talk about that. And I think this kind of boils down to it's like the age-old problem of well, I own the business and it's on my shoulders. I'm the one that has to do it. Or I can't get somebody to do that piece. Even if people hire, they'll hire out for things, but they still hold on to things that they don't like doing, or they really wish they could offload, but they, for whatever reason, they have this mental roadblock and they're like, I can't give that to somebody else. It has to be me. People want to talk to me. It's got to be me. Oh, I have to know that part of the business. I have to do that part of the business. And it's complete fallacy. So you don't need to do any one particular thing in your business. You can set your business up so that you do the things that you actually like and enjoy. And build the business around those things, and those things might change. So in the
Mm,
beginning, I was just talking about this on the scale call Friday, I think. So in the very beginning, when you're like a solopreneur and it's all you, yeah, everything is going to fall on your shoulders because it's just you. When you start to hire, though, you can start to give away things that you really don't enjoy doing.
mm,
Most of the times, this is what I see people do is they're like, well, I really like this piece, so I'm going to keep that piece and I'm going to give away these other pieces. But every once in a while, I still see people that they're like, oh, well, I'll ask them, like, what do you do in your business? Like, what do you do? And sometimes I'll get answers like, well, I do everything. Like, I do all of it. Ha 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 ha. And like, they laugh about it. It's not funny to me at all. That's pain.
mm.
That's like pain coming through. And they're trying to like use humor to disguise it. I'm like, well, that sounds pretty freaking awful
Sometimes
if
laughter
you're
is the
doing
stage.
everything.
Sometimes laughter is the stage before crying.
Mm,
So
not for
sometimes it's
me,
the stage before crying for a
but
lot of
maybe.
people. They're like, yeah.
Yeah. So even these people, they have a team. And I'm like, well, what do you do? And they're like, well, I
Mm,
do everything. I'm like, yeah, but then what does your team do? And they're like, well, they do these things. And I'm like, and what do you do? They're like, well, I do everything else. So do you enjoy doing everything else? Most of the times they say no. So then why are you continuing to do it? And they have this idea like planted in their brain that it has to be them, and it doesn't. It does not have to be you. You do not need to put all this crazy amount of pressure on yourself to be like, it's not all you. You don't need to be the face of the company. You don't. Just because you own it, you don't need to be the face of the company. And there will be absolutely, there will be stages in your business where you are the face of the company. There will be
mm,
stages in your business where you are the company. It's you. You're like, well, let me talk to the leasing department. That's me. Let me talk to maintenance. That's me. Let me talk to accounting. That's me.
mm.
Right. But at some point, those things are going to shift and you're going to keep, hopefully, just the things that you really enjoy doing. And if it's not something you really enjoy doing, you've got to be able to offload that and trust your team to handle that. That's also going to reduce your pressure noise a lot.
That's a big challenge. We see it a lot. And the default for every entrepreneur is you move through the solopreneur stage, doing everything yourself. You build a team the wrong way, typically, which is you build the team based on what the business needs instead of what you need. And then you're more and more miserable as the team scales and the business scales. Your name is in parentheses next to every person on the org chart because they all come to you with questions. And if you're dealing with that frustration, you really should be talking with DoorGrow and letting us help you get out of that. We're really good at helping people restructure their teams and get out of that pressure and noise. Um, and if you're listening to this, you probably can't see it. You can't see how you're doing things wrong. You just know it doesn't feel right. You're like, I'm wearing hats that I don't want to wear, and I have an entire team. And a lot of times it's because we have some false beliefs like, I'm the business owner, so I have to do the accounting, or I'm the business owner, so I have to like be the person doing sales, or there's nothing you have to do. If you own the business, you're king or queen. Like you set the rules. You can decide what you want to do. You could be the receptionist if that's what you want to be. If that's your dream, you can outsource or like hire for everything else, right? So you can't see those sometimes accurately who you are and the things that you really do enjoy and what your purpose is. And so this is one of the things we help clients get really clear on, and then restructuring their team. So can be really helpful.
Yeah.
So related to this, a common scenario or problem is a lot of business owners put more and more pressure on themselves simply by starting more and more businesses. And this can be a big challenge. Like entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs and they're like they love starting stuff. They're like, let's start some shit. They want to start more stuff all the time because starting is fun and sexy and exciting, and you can have this fantasy for the business and this new idea, and then making all of it work and doing everything and all that is not so fun and exciting. So they're jumping to the next fun thing. And then they
Mhm.
have, next thing they know, they have like 9 businesses, you know?
Yeah. And I think the other thing I see a lot is, especially with property management, there's a lot of crossover, right? They're like,
Mm,
well, I could do property management, and that goes hand in hand with real estate. And then that goes hand in hand with doing appraisals. And then that goes hand in hand with doing inspections. And that goes hand in
Yeah.
hand with insurance. And that goes hand in hand with being a notary. And then that, and it's like you can, oh, and I could start a maintenance company. And now I could do like a cleaning company. And I can do this. And I can do this. And I can, and you and yourself
Pool
to death,
maintenance,
right?
roofing.
And we've
Yeah.
seen that. And a lot of times when we see that, it's like it's completely premature,
Mm,
because in order to have more than one successful business, you must first have one successful business. So you can't
mm,
have a business that's like, eh, and then go, well, I'm just going to start another successful business.
yeah.
Well, if the first one isn't working out so well, how you do one thing is typically how you do everything. So if you have a business that isn't going super well, and then you're like, oh, I'm just going to start another one. Well, your other one is probably going to mirror very closely what the first one looks like,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's it's like it's just like temptation, and it's like opportunity, and it's just surrounded because there's so much that you're like, well, I don't need to pay somebody to clean houses. Like I could just start a company, and then my company will I'll pay myself. And right.
Mm,
But the problem is, and I'm not saying, I am like so not saying do not start multiple businesses. What I am saying is only look at starting other businesses once the main one or your first one is super solid. Like when it's running really well, it really doesn't need you. If you
mm.
can go for like a month or two without really handling or touching or doing anything in that business. So if I can take you and I can pick you up and drop you off on a like desert island, and you come back and your company is just fine, now you can look at starting another business. If that's not the case, don't do it yet.
Yeah, the company should be better than how you left it. If you have a good business, it should be better. It should be growing. It should be healthy. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up, but the first thing I want to say related to that is there's I've talked about the five currencies in the past. The currency of focus, which Sarah is talking about, is the most important currency related to growing and scaling a business. The less you're focused on and the less you're distracted by, the more you can help that business grow and grow faster. And so just keep that in mind. At DoorGrow, we can help you become more of that entrepreneur that can solve all the gaps and all the problems with your one business, and it makes you a better entrepreneur for all the others. We've seen that happen a lot of times with our clients. And that's our goal, is to teach you to be the entrepreneur that can have the business of your dreams. The only reason you don't have it yet is you're not yet that person. So one of my mentors said, Jason, you don't have the business of your dreams yet because you're not yet the person that can run it yet, which was a punch in the gut at the time. I was like, he's right. So, um, and the other thing that I've learned is that opportunity, entrepreneurs, we see it everywhere. It's everywhere. Oh, there's a problem. I could solve that. There's a problem. I could solve that. Oh, you need a pool maintenance person? Well, you could start a pool maintenance company too for property management. Like there's a million things you could do. That doesn't mean you should. And entrepreneurs, some of the most powerful things that we can do as an entrepreneur in focus is to just say no and turn things down and to not do things until we really get things solid, like you were talking about. So, all right. So, for those that have been watching us for a while or listening to the podcast for a while, I mean, I talked to somebody this week that was like, I've been listening for like 3 years. And it was like the first conversation I'd had with them. If you're sitting in the wings listening to us, when is it going to be your turn? When's it going to be your turn? When do you get to be the person that gets to be the person getting these awesome results that our clients are getting? Why don't you believe you deserve this? Why are you being so hard on yourself and making things so difficult? Why don't you reach out? It's one thing, like there's some great free stuff that we give out. We want to coach you. We want to mentor you. We want to help you. We want to support you in getting your business to actually become the business of your dreams. Have the day to day that you want. Lower your stress, lower your pressure and noise. Be more of what you were meant to be, more mom, more dad, more family. better pet owner. I don't know, whatever you've got, right? Taking care of the people around you. Like we want to help you become the person you were meant to become when you started this business, and if you're doing it correctly, and we want to help you do it correctly. So reach out to DoorGrow, have a conversation with us. If you have at least 20, 30, 50, 100 doors, we can start to help you. We can help you eliminate some of your crazy expenses, run lean. If you have 200, 400 or more doors, we know that this is a significant challenge place point for most people. They're sometimes the least profitable per unit they've ever been.
Mhm.
They're the most stressed they've ever been. They have an entire team. We can get you out of this. Like we can help solve this. This is a more fun problem for us to solve than even just getting doors. Getting doors is not hard. We can help you do that. For those of you that have the challenge, getting doors is no longer a challenge. How do we deal with all these doors? How do we deal with all these team members? How do I become profitable? We want to help you with that. We can help you with that significantly. And if you have 600 door plus, you've got an awesome team, maybe even 1,000 doors plus, and you're like, I really want to get more from this. I want to optimize this more. I want to support my team more. I want to invest in them. I want my BDM, I want my operator to be working with DoorGrow and to take things to the next level. I want to feed into them and give them success. Then reach out to DoorGrow. We've helped clients go from 600 to 1,000 doors. We've helped clients over 1,000 doors clean up stuff they should have done when they first started their business. Reach out to us. We want to help you out. There's no reason not to. Anything that you do with us, you're going to get an ROI that's far greater than our system is paying you. It's a no-brainer. And just go to doorgrow.com and that's it. So anything else? All right.
I hate when you do that.
I know, but I want to give you the opportunity to have the last word. But all right, until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.